We're hitting lesson number 15 up on your homework. Number 1, Diego is solving this inequality, and when he solves it, he gets 50 when he treats it like an equation, like you do for an inequality. That's what you do. You treat it like an equation. Now, as he was solving this, his steps were subtract by 100. All right, and what that did was that gave him this. Remember, this was a negative 3x, so negative 3x's was equal to negative 150. And then his last step, and this is important, is that he divided by negative 3. Now, we've talked about in class, in an inequality, when you divide both sides by a negative or multiply both sides by a negative in the solving process, it will turn your inequality symbol from what it used to be to its reverse. So this used to be greater than, now it's going to be less than or equal to. And of course, he's getting his 50 from that division. So, you know, this came from the division of 150 and 3. So that's where he's getting the 50 from. But it is important to note that that flipped to less than or equal to. So you're not going to magically go from an or equal to a non, so that rules those out. It had to either be B or D. And, you know, you can test it out. You can try numbers that are bigger than 50, ones that are smaller than 50, ones that make it work. And the ones that are smaller than 50, like 0, like if I put 0 in x's place, it does make a true statement, because 100 minus nothing is 100, and 100, last I checked, is greater than negative 50. So if you put in numbers that are bigger than 50, like 100 or something else, it's not going to make this true, like we just saw. So that one's got to be B. Alright, and then on number 2, we just have to solve this. So we've been learning how to solve these by division first. And so x minus 1, if this was an equal sign, x minus 1 would be positive 8, because if 5x minus 1s make 40, then one of them is 8, right? And it has to be a positive 8, because there's no other way to get a negative 40 from that. But just like we talked about on the last problem, I just divided negative 40 by negative 5 to get there. Like, that was my step, was to divide both sides by negative 5 to get here. And so what, in essence, that does to our inequality is it flips it. So whenever we get our solution, it's not going to be greater than or equal to, or greater than, it's just going to be less than now because of that division by negative. And then we solve it like we've been doing. They're subtracting 1, so we add 1. X is smaller than 9. Okay, so let's try it out. Pick a number that's smaller than 9. 0, right? If 0 makes this true, then we know that it's right. Alright, so 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. Is positive 5 greater than negative 40? Yeah. So we know that we've chosen the right sign. It's always a good idea just to go back and check to see if you picked the right one. Okay. And then lastly, number 3, ones that make this work. All right. An easy way to kind of get this where you want it to be is solve it. You know, negative x must be greater than or equal to 4, because you subtract 6 from both sides. And then multiply both by negative 1. It's going to flip your sign, and it's going to make this 4 negative 4. So we're looking for x's that are smaller or equal to negative 4. Okay, smaller or equal. Nope, nope, yes, yes, nope, 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 yes. Done. So much easier to solve it and then check off the list than go the other route and try every one of them. Right? Because I know that everyone has to be smaller than negative 4 or equal to it. That's an easy thing to check off my list, and much faster than trying to plug each and every one of them in and see if it works.